For those who have transitioned into the I just go home and go to work phase, when did that happen? Did you have a realization of some sort within yourself? Like it was a self-realization, like, oh, this is just what life is, right? And for those who are always on the go, like I'd be interested to know, like, why the hell you ain't sat down somewhere? Not that you need to, because if you don't, you have choice.
Hey, kings and queens and everything in between. Welcome to this episode of a Sip with Samad podcast. And I'm your host, Samad. Let's jump in.
That's God shall get, them that's not shall lose. So the Bible said, and it still is news. Mama may have, and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Yes, the strong get smart while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets they don't ever make the grade. Mama may have and Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Money, you've got lots of friends crowding round your door. When you're gone and spending ends, they don't come round no more. Rich relations give crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. God bless the child that's got his own. God bless the child that's got his own. His own. Sorry, I went to my show choir. My inner Liza Minnelli came out just now. So I actually love this song. Billie Holiday sung it. Phyllis Hyman sung it. Some of everybody sung it. It became famous by Billie Holiday, actually, for those who may not know this. So I actually was doing some reading, and of course, Trusty Dusty Reddit said that the phrase, God bless the child that's got his own, implies that those who have their own resources and are self-sufficient are deserving of God's blessing. And I'm not trying to get holy-roly here, but it also was saying that this song was derived from Billie Holiday asking her mother for a loan, and in asking her mother for the loan, who benefited from Billie's success, and she didn't provide the loan to Billie. Billie, I guess, responded back to her mother by saying, God bless the child that's got his own. And so that's where the song comes from. I don't know why this song has always, even as a kid, I used to love hearing this song sung by both Phyllis Hyman and Billie Holiday. But Phyllis Hyman did... that ending was actually Phyllis Hyman because she sung it years ago and I tried to sing it. It ain't really for me, but I love to hear it just because of the story behind it. So welcome back, y'all. I am, of course, Samad West Keys, host of a Sip with Samad podcast, and you are sipping with me. We are sipping together, and I'm just so happy to be here with you yet another week. So last episode, I was tired as hell this episode, I'm still tired, but not as tired as I was before, where I was falling asleep while trying to do Uber Eats orders. That was a sad, sad day. Sad day. Sad day. Oh, Jesus. But I'm here nonetheless. I'm really excited. I got some things to share with you all, some thoughts to share with you all. And we're going to go down this rabbit hole together, which I'm really excited about. But before I get started, what am I drinking today? What am I drinking? So look, I told y'all the last episode, I'm going to tell you again, now that I've embarked upon this journey called fatherhood, I don't have the time like I used to go about and researching drinks. At some point, and if you all know somebody who want to get in while we're still rising. Because like I try to tell people all my life, get in now while you can, because once I get there, I'm not sure if this is going to work, right? Because I don't know. So, but if you know somebody who wants to make drinks for the show and surprise us with some things, as long as it's not gin, but I mean, if you're making a drink, and I'll try it. Don't want to, but yeah, gin. Everything else I'm down for. But somebody who wants to make drinks on the show, we can feature them. That would be bomb. I would love to do that. Also, if you know anyone who's into sort of marketing and production for podcasting, of course, this is a fully funded program by moi, and the funds aren't limited. So if you need some course credits or something, I got you. We can work this out. And I write great letters of reference. If you don't know, ask some of the people I've wrote references for. I've gotten people into college and everything else. So anyway, what are we sipping on? We are sipping on a Casamigos Anejo, one of my go-tos. I have some of the other stuff upstairs, but that last one I tried, I'm not going to say the name of it. You'll probably guess, but I wasn't really a fan. So it was the tequila. It just wasn't giving anything. That the aftertaste, like with my tequilas, I try to find one that it takes me on a journey. So you take the first sip, and it hits you, right? It's like it's a little burn, but it's a burn with some flavors that are just opening up. And so then you start tasting like some nodes of vanilla, some nodes of oakiness, and then it's still rising at the end. I'm making this up, but it sounds good, doesn't it? But I'm not making up the flavor profile, but this whole process, this is not a process for me. I never share this. So, But that was so good. So yeah, that's what I'm drinking. Let me know. Remember to hit me up on Facebook, IG, TikTok, wherever you want. You can email me. Some people found my number and called me. Let me know what you're drinking, because I do like to try new things. I just don't have the capacity to make them for the show. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, hit me up. Would love to know. So that's what I'm drinking. Let me know what you're drinking. So let's see. What has happened since we last talked? Where do I start? I guess I'll get the baby update out the way, because I'm sure y'all care about that more. So she's getting bigger and bigger by the day. It's so just wonderful to watch this being look at you and to smile at you when she passes gas, or when she passes gas in the tub, and you're like, look at my baby. I mean, it's just fatherhood is. I never thought it was a different feeling, but it is. And it's hard to describe. And I can now understand why a lot of men, Black men in particular, because I've seen a lot of white guys talk about how they love fatherhood. I don't know many Black men who I love fatherhood. Like, I've heard them openly say that. But I think the reason why you probably don't hear them say that is because it requires you to tap into some feelings that you probably have been told to subdue for most of your life. Right. And so you shouldn't feel this way. It's a love that you just never knew that you could love or feel. And so that's what fatherhood has been like for me. The sleepless nights, the bottles in the middle of the night. I love it. I love her. I love the way it's made my family unit so much more connected. And it's not to say that I don't give side eyes still, because I do. Because we still... I can't help it. But I love just this idea. it's so, and every day I'm learning something new about myself. I actually was talking to some friends more recently, and I was sharing with them that, growing up Black, you see women, your aunties, your mothers, your grandmothers, just like immerse themselves into the church experience. And I was talking to some friends, and I was like, it all makes sense now to me. It all makes sense. In order for you to be a Black woman and send your children out into this world, and this is not, well, I'm talking about Black women or women of color right now, but I'm talking more specifically, I'm not saying that this is just generalized to us, because I'm sure white women do it too. You have to believe in something greater than yourself in order to send your kids out into this world every day. Like something that you have to believe in to know that it is something bigger, greater, stronger, more powerful than you to protect your child. And I haven't been to church in Lord knows how long. And I can tell you a story about that after I get done talking to tell you about my feelings. But I haven't been to church in so long. But I'm like, more recently, I'm like, damn, I need to get back, because that's, when she starts going out in this world, I need to be spiritually ready and booted and suited and everything else in between. So, but yeah, no, it's fatherhood is a hell of a thing. I probably said that last week. I can't remember because I was tired, but it's a hell of a thing. And I'm enjoying this journey. Thank you to all the friends who've reached out. Thank you to the friends who've fallen back. And, thank you to the friends who continue to support. I'm actually not mad at the friends that have fallen back. I'm not mad about that. Because this probably wasn't your space. This wasn't your storyline to lean into. There probably is one. This wasn't it. But I've also had the opportunity to connect with some old friends, some people I haven't talked to in a while. And also some friends who were parents. And I feel like now that I'm a parent, we've gotten closer now. Like they actually hit me up randomly to talk, which I just want to say, y'all could have done this while you had the kids. And I felt like my friends who had children, they were kind of pulling away. But now I get it. I don't have time to respond to everybody's text message. So we could be good friends. I may not see your text message till tonight, which is so unlike me. So unlike me, because I hate seeing a number on my phone. However, I'm at this stage in life where you may text me at 9:00 and I saw it and I read it. I read the text message, probably even started to respond. And then something happened. A baby cried, a bottle needed to be made. It might be bath time. Who knows? And now that text has just been left unread. So I apologize to all the friends and family even who I set the tone for much of my life, where I responded to text messages immediately. If I didn't respond to a text message immediately back in the day, now I could say it was back in the day. If I didn't respond to text messages then, like back then, that was, or pre-child, let's say it that way. If I didn't respond back then, that means I didn't want to respond and I probably saw it. Now I'm saying I probably saw it. I would love to respond. However, something has happened and things change. I hope this doesn't spill over into my email inbox, because I need to read all of my emails. Like the other day I saw the number 25 and it freaked me out. Is anybody else like that where you can't see? And I know people who can have thousands of unread emails and messages, and I don't understand how you function. That is just, it's actually likened to a serial killer. I don't, that's like people putting sugar in their grits, or their spaghetti. Well, no, actually I put it in my spaghetti. So sorry. Not anymore though. Side note, I told y'all gonna, my brain be all over the place. So, let me tell you why I stopped going to church. I grew up in the church. I grew up in the Baptist church, and I've had so many experiences throughout my life with religion, and it's been really interesting. I used to say one of the cool parts about just my childhood is that I was exposed to so much at a younger age. And so because my name was Samad, I remember back in the day, a lot of the Muslim dudes that were in the towers where I grew up, they used to ask my mother if they could take me to the mosque to pray. And I can remember going, and, all I can really remember, for those who are listening, you're not going to be able to see this, but I just remember men raising and going back and forth. They were praying. And as kids, you weren't being told that you had to do it, but they wanted you to observe it and to take it on yourself. That's the experience that I can recall. I didn't really take it in because I didn't know what was going on, but I was learning, right? I was taking in information. So, but I also, because even though I grew up Baptist, I volunteered at, Jewish synagogues. I volunteered at other different types of churches or denominations or branches of religion. Because I was Black, I also visited so many different other churches. In Paterson, there's like every type of church. There's a Baptist church, Kojic Church, AME Church, Mount AME Zion. You got it. United Methodist, everywhere. Right. So there was always your friends who were going to these other churches. I wonder how we got down our paths of denominations. Like, how did we get there? Needless to say, I attended church much throughout my childhood, through college. Even through college, I attended church because that's just what I grew up doing. And I love the music ministry and the choir. So that was where I spent much of my time, even though I always wanted to be a dancer at the church, but they weren't ready for me. They weren't ready. They were not ready for me. But I was ready. I used to have my routines and everything, just in case something happened and somebody needed to call on like a dancer to come fill in the dead space. But truth be told, if my family would have pushed me up and told me to go dance, I probably would be like, no. But the routine was ready. But yeah, so... but towards the tail end of college, probably when I went into grad school, so I went to a Progressive Pentecostal church, Vision Church, which was a great experience. It was one of the churches where here in Atlanta, I felt like I was now around people who were at one point ostracized from the ministry, from church. It was a church that was predominantly gay at the time. Now I think they would probably, there is still, LGBTQ+, I guess, majority. However, it's welcome of all who are okay with and open to and love, one regardless of their sexual orientation and things like that. That was a very PC way of going around. It was a great church. I think it was the problem, though, is because it was Pentecostal origin. By the time we were leaving church, I was exhausted. I mean, because folks were tarrying, folks were plowing the spirit. Then you had a prophetic word from God. It was so much. And it was like one of those situations where the choir would stop and then start up again. And then you think it's over and you start clapping, you sit down in your seat and they're like, and we are blessed. And then you for the next however many minutes, we're now going down that journey. So it was just exhausting. But then we found another church, which was Victory. Victory was great too. Then I went to grad school. Then I went to DC, visited a couple of churches, and DC was an interesting space with regards to church. So I used to like going to the chapel at Howard Chapel. I had friends who are alum of Howard, so they would always invite me to go along. I'm like, oh yeah, sure. Maybe I did find a church home, but I never really pursued it. Needless to say, I stopped going many times because, one, I felt like the message started to not apply to me. Right. So I felt like the message, sometimes the theology or the doctrine or the message was kind of steeped in a deficit space. And at that time, I felt like I was thriving. Hey, here I am in grad school doing something I never thought I would be doing. Here I am, partnered. Here I am living my life like it's golden. And then you go to church and it's like, and I know you're down and I know you're out. And I'm like, no, I'm actually pretty good. I think I feel good. So I started to feel like I was going to church and they weren't talking to me. And then I think the church I liked in DC, which was Mount Enon, it was just a little further out than I wanted to go for church. I wasn't that committed. But then got back to Atlanta and I still haven't found a church home yet. So I need to go and start exploring again. And I don't know, I don't know what is telling me I need to go back to church. I think it's what I said earlier. You have to believe in something bigger than yourself in order to be okay with the fact that you have the full responsibility of taking care of this little being. So yeah, that's my little run on about me in church. I'm hoping to get back, especially growing up, and being young and gay and going to church. And you heard so many people say things about, you not being there, or them sissies up in church. I'm so tired of the sissies. Like you would hear all that type of stuff and you'd be sitting there like, oh, and I remember being in church and hearing people at the pulpit say things disparaging about folks that were gay who might have been in the congregation. And the fact of the matter was that a lot of the choir was gay, the choir director, usually the musicians were straight, but even still it's like these people are working their asses off for the Lord, for ministry, and all you're doing is telling them that they shouldn't be there. And I feel the same way even when I hear like certain brothers of mine in my fraternity. They have so many disparaging things to say about brothers who are in the LGBTQ legitimaquois, all right, that space, yet and still we do majority of the work. So make it make sense. Make it make sense to me but that's why I kind of, whenever I get into those situations where I don't feel like you want me to be my authentic self, I have to pull back. And so church was an instance where I pulled back. And honestly, if I'm being completely frank with you, my fraternity is a space where I pull back. I'm active, nationally. Nobody's done anything wrong to me. I don't know. Maybe something was done wrong and I just haven't let it go. So maybe I should bring this up in therapy. That's why I'm bringing it up here with you. So another update that's happened since we last chatted is I am officially on parental leave. I don't know what to do with myself. I really don't. So everybody's like, so what are you going to do on leave outside of taking care of this baby? And I'm like, take care of this baby. And I'll probably do some planning, life planning, right? Like, I think that this is probably one of the few times in life where I'll have an opportunity to like sit down and plan my life out, like map some shit down. And it's not to say that I haven't done it before, but I haven't had to do it while not having other really, really big responsibilities. And right now, my big responsibility is this baby and we're at work. Yeah, that's it. I mean, myself, of course, everything wouldn't be a responsibility if I wasn't alive. So, but yeah, I just feel like I'm going to plan. I want to do some things professionally. I want to sit down and think through that and what that could look like and strategize on what that could be. This is something that I don't take for granted, right? Like I have the time to bond with Avery, but I also have the time to bond with myself. And bonding with myself consists of me planning out my life from a professional standpoint, a life standpoint, I want to do some investing. I have some career tracks that I want to further explore. Yeah, this is going to be a bomb ass time. And I get to bond with my baby the whole damn time. So this will be fun. I'm going to be planning her life too, within reason, because, kids go whatever way they're going to go. We as a parents can plan, but your kid going to do what your kid going to want to do. All you can do is just provide exposure and guide. I'm saying that to myself now, is that you might have a plan. All you can do is provide exposure and hopefully something sticks. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do with my time off. This is difficult for me because I am not the relaxed type. So even when I don't have anything to do, I need something to do, right? I'm your friend who goes to the spa. I keep my watch on just in case the clock is not working in the wet area. So that way I can time myself. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to give myself 20 minutes in this hot tub. Okay. All right. 20 minutes. Now I'm going to go to the dry sauna. All right. Now I'm going to go to the Himalayan sea salt sauna. And I'm going to the ice room. And like, I'm that person. And I'm like, okay. And I have a massage at, 120. So let me go ahead and get myself together. Like, it's ridiculous. So one of my newer friends, a new sipper, was like, who's a therapist, was like, you should probably talk to your therapist about this. So yeah, that's definitely something I need to bring forward, and also something I'm being mindful of, even in just in engaging Avery, so that way she doesn't feel like every moment has to be filled with something to do. And I'm not saying that that's how I was raised. I don't think so. But I'm definitely like, hey, but I'm like, girly, it's okay to just sit there and stare off in the space. Like, when was the last time you as an adult had the opportunity to just stare off into space without falling asleep? I can clearly remember as a kid looking up in the sky in the car and just thinking, making visuals of the clouds and saying, oh, that looks like that, or that looks like Snoopy, or that looks like that. Like, when was the last time you had that moment? I encourage you, seriously, like, I'm my motivational tip right now, even though this might sound this way. Take a moment to look up in the sky and look up at the clouds and just spend some time imagining. Let your brain go into that area. Let your creative juices just free your mind, and the rest will follow. But no, I definitely, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this opportunity. So I want to switch gears. I normally don't talk about movies, but now that I've been at the house for a bit, I've had a chance to watch some TV, which I normally don't really do, or I usually have it on, but I'm not watching. So in this case, I've watched, I guess these are all movies. So The Union with Halle Berry and Mark Wahlberg. It was interesting. Haven't really seen Halle play in much lately. But the thing that I just want to bring forward, the reason why I'm bringing this one up is because in the movie, it was based in New Jersey. Yeah, I know I'm a Jersey tomato. And I guess Mark and Halle grew up in Paterson. And I felt some type of way. There were comments that were being made like, oh, so you just want to go back to Paterson and do nothing? And I was like, wait a minute now, hold up. I can talk about Paterson. If you're from Paterson, you can talk about Paterson. Halle Berry and Mark Wahlberg and whoever wrote this script, you can't talk about Paterson negatively. I don't even let Alan talk about Paterson, and he's married to Paterson. So the movie was meh. It was supposed to be like an romantic action, I guess. I don't know. It was some romance there or feelings there, but it was mainly like an action flick. But that was my only qualm with that one. I've watched Desperate Lies, but I really haven't had a chance to get into it. So I ain't really even gonna talk about that one. Let's see. I also watched Average Joe. So it's on Netflix, and Average Joe was interesting. I encourage you to watch it. There's only one season. It says it was a pilot. It came out in 2023. And so Average Joe had a bunch of different actors in it that I've seen before. I don't know their names exactly, but the one that was probably the most familiar and the one that was, I guess, the main actor in the entire miniseries was Dion Cole. Now, I will say it was difficult taking Dion serious in this movie just because I'm always used to him playing something or someone so unserious. Like even his, Old Spice commercial ads, I'm like, oh, look at him from Blackish just being his goofy self. And I honestly feel like this is like who he is, like at baseline, which I actually want to hang out with Dion Cole. So if you're listening, please know that I am not judging your acting skills. I actually think that you're playing your character well. We can hang out and we can talk about this more. So you can stop listening now because I'm about to talk about this movie still. Thank you, Dion. But I couldn't take him serious. And there was a lot of killing and murdering and all that stuff going on. But it was just hard. It was hard to take it. Like by the end of it, I don't know if the budget became depleted. But I started to see things in the movie where I was like, okay, hold on. Like the makeup really took a turn for the left. Like, I don't know if this was like a joke. I don't know if this was, but I was like, what's going on? Like the scars on Dion, the woman who played Dion's wife in the movie, it was like, wait a minute now. Why you have these three squiggly lines here and you got these bandages going over it? It looked like tic-tac-toe. And then one of the guys, he got stabbed in the eye with the wiring to the toilet handle. And his eye, he just had some putty over it and it was red. It was just it was stuff I was catching. And I was like, oh my God, why am I so overly critical? When did this happen? But then I realized, no, the movie, something just happened and the budget must have taken a turn and they weren't able to finish the way that they started. It was good. You should watch it. And Dion, once again, this is not you. I think that you did the best you could with what you had. But you played your character. So I think that's why you were cast for this. So also I watched Deliverance with Andre Day, Monique, Glenn Close, It's a Lee Daniels movie. It was good. I got to watch it again before I talk about it. So I'm giving you all a heads up. Like, I'm not going to say much right now. Maybe I might talk about it in the next episode. So by then, maybe you watched it. But yeah, it was interesting. I definitely have to watch it again. I will say I will give it to what's her name? Anjanae Ellis, I think is her name. I love watching her act. I love seeing the versatility that she has and just her skills and going from different characters. She played in Lovecraft Country. She played Dr. Maddie Moss Clark. She played Isabel Wilkerson, Cass. So she played her in the movie Cass. Like she's been around for a bit, but she's so damn good. Her character, of course, Monique and Andra, was it Andrade? Andrade? I've been drinking. So, but she was good too. I wasn't expecting that. I could not get over the fact that they made that woman, what's her name? Glenn Close, I think is her name. They made her into a black white auntie. Like that white auntie that you have that you didn't know, like she's confused you all your life because you thought that she was black, but you found out that she was white and you were shocked because you probably said some stuff about white people in front of her but she probably was saying it right back with you. That white auntie, that's who they made Glenn Close in this movie. And it was crazy to see like, wow, she was phenomenal too. But I love to see the diversity of the characters. I guess Lee Daniels and Monique made up. So kudos, good job, y'all. Keeping it. We're moving by ourselves, but we're a force when we're together. But they did well. Monique did well. I wanted more of her, but it wasn't a Monique film. But yeah, I just have so many questions. So I'm going to watch it again, and then I'm going to come back to you with the questions that I had. And maybe you can help me if I can't help myself in getting to those, like the answer to those. So that's a little update. All right. So what's been on my mind? I probably told you all a little bit about what's been on my mind. There were a couple questions this week that came up. The first was, when did you settle down and just work and go home? Like, at what point did you realize that you weren't doing that? Like that you weren't like out in the streets that you were before, right? So I can recall, probably in DC, that was my last like little bit of, I'm a career man. I'm going out in these streets. I don't know why I'm moving my shoulders like Pepe La Beja. For those who don't know who Pepe La Beja is, please watch Paris is Burning and you'll understand the reference. But yeah, I don't know what happened or how it got there, or how I got here. But yeah, when I was in DC, it was very much like I was partying, I was having a good time, socializing. And now I realize, and I don't know if this is just a product of being 40, is everybody going through this? Is it because of the fact that, I'm married? Are my single friends going through this? But when did life become you just going to work and coming home? And I will say part of the challenge is Atlanta. Atlanta's not a place where you can like do things after work with people because everybody lives so far away, or we all live spread out. This person's going to the southeast, this person's going just straight south. Like we're all over the compass, and we don't really socialize. I can remember when I lived in DC, I used to come down here and try to get friends together. Like, oh, let's grab happy hour. Let's grab happy hour. And it would be like me and another friend. And in addition to that, you can't do happy hour here on drinks in Atlanta or in the state of Georgia, I believe. They can do happy hour on food, but they can't do like a special time of day where drinks are half off. And so back in the day, I actually learned that when I went to Einstein's, I think when I was in DC, I was like, well, I'm trying to have happy hour, and found out that they always had $5 Pinnacle martinis because that was the price of it all day long. So you were always getting happy hour, even though it was a Pinnacle martini and you might get a headache. No shade to Pinnacle. For those who drink it, that's your thing. Let me not yuck your yum. Somebody's probably saying the same thing about this damn Casamigos. But yeah, I was talking to Alan, I was like, when did this become life? Like, when did we were doing this before Avery was here? We were going to work, and now that you work from home, you're like, damn, I've been in the house all damn day. Which is crazy to me. Like, I need to find an office outside of home because I like socializing, and I feel like I might be becoming an introvert somewhat sometimes. And so I think going out and finding an office space, but then you got to pay for it. Well, let me stop talking before somebody at work hear me and they're like, we need to get Samad back in the office. And I'm like, no. So never mind. I lied. I like coming home. I like staying at the house all day. I work here, and I have my little federal policy and regulation signed up about me getting a 15 minutes and everything. But no, when did that become life? Seriously, like I don't like going out to the club. I actually went out this past weekend because it was House in the Park here in Atlanta, and so I wanted to go to the actual House in the Park, but I can't ever find nobody to go. Like some folks are like, that's like a one-time deal. Other folks are like, yeah, I can go, but I need to have a tent and a special setup. Then you got those friends that's like, oh, let's get a tent. And then you're like, okay, sure. I've done the research on how much it costs to get a tent. I think they probably wanted you to do it. And then they would go ahead and be underneath the tent, but they weren't trying to really contribute to the tent. Now it makes sense. It all makes sense. Damn it. They wanted me to pay for the tent. Well, y'all know me. I'm a little frugal. I will contribute to the tent. I wasn't paying for it. So I guess that's why we never went as a group to House in the Park. But no, I went to a function. It was actually DJ Kemet and Frank Ski and some others there. And so they were doing like a house set. They were switching out, did like a little DJ rotation, which I got my dance on. I'm going to post the videos on social media to let you know I still got it. But I definitely went with the wrong shoes on. Should have went with something a little bit more comfortable. And I'm nursing like my ankle is bothering me just randomly. So. But I did dance, had a good time. Me and Mike, shout out to Mike, my ride or die. If you mention going someplace where there's house music and Mike ain't occupied, he will definitely go with you. So he's always a person that's typically out with me at those types of functions. You could also see that it was catering to people of a certain age, which was interesting because there were seats all throughout the venue. So you can go ahead and get your little two-step on, and then you go find you a little seat and sit your ass down until your song came back on. And I was like, this is indicative of my age and the age group that I hang out with now. Yeah, but I still love me some house music, so I'll dance all night long. And if you get me real good, the ancestor starts talking to me, and I'll be in a trance on the dance floor. But it was great. Enjoyed it. But I say all that to say, I'm sorry, I got on the side, a little tangent. Y'all just go with me on these tangents. And this is how I would be if we were talking in person. No, I don't really go out much. I go out to things like that every now and then. But other than that, it's like really, you wake up, you work, you go to the gym, like you start trying to find things to do to get out the house. At least I do. Like now it makes sense why when I worked in the retail banking industry, I worked at a branch that had a lot of seniors that would come in. And those seniors, I think they would just come in and they would cash like a little $2 check and they would smile at you like, yes, I just cashing my check, came to get some bananas today. And you like, really? Like, really? You came in here for this $2 check? They were just doing it to get out the house. And sometimes I do the same thing. While I'm not going to cash and checks inside the supermarket, I will just go around the corner to grab some grapes. Seriously. Like, I would go to Publix, go grab some grapes and come back. Or like, oh, let me go get a piece of candy. Like Publix is the corner store. So it's interesting. And then other times I'm like, I don't feel like going out. So anyhow, when did this become life? And will it get worse? And is it wrong? Like, because sometimes I see people who are like older than me and they're always moving and they're not in the house, right? And they are always on the go. And it's not about like going to work and going home. They go to work, go home, go to here, go to there, go to everywhere. And I'm like, sit down somewhere. Just making me nervous. But then I'm like, is there anything wrong with that? So it's not anything wrong with that. But For those who have transitioned into the I just go home and go to work phase, when did that happen? Did you have a realization of some sort within yourself? Like it was a self-realization, like, oh, this is just what life is, right? I'd be interested to know. And for those who are always on the go, like, I'd be interested to know, like, why the hell you ain't sat down somewhere? Not that you need to, because if you don't, you have choice. All right, y'all. It's been a great, great time catching up with you all. I want y'all to continue to write in, continue to share, continue to talk to me on social media. I'm going to be on parental leave, so I'm going to have some time. I'm definitely going to try to become a little bit more visible on social media and do some special things with the show. So I'm looking forward to it because this is one of the things that I plan on leaning into and studying a little bit more. So I guess we'll talk next week. Shout out to all my followers, all the sippers. Continue to like, share, subscribe, all that and above. But until next week, y'all, I don't want to leave y'all. Oh, I don't want to leave y'all. All right, I'm out.